What's good, everybody? What's up, man? This is Stephen Qualls II, aka Mr. Qualified. It's your boy. And man, I am back with my follow-up series. It's something I've been thinking about doing for some time. But man, all the people y'all are gonna see in this series, if y'all go back and if y'all look at the footage, man, about three years ago now, at this point, I sat down and talked with all these people. These were the first people featured on Qualified, and I figured why not revisit them? It's been 3 years. I'm going to assume that because of who they are, they made some strides in what they were telling me and what we were talking about 3 years ago. And I can imagine that the conversations are just going to be, that much better and that much more developed. So I'll let the first guest of the series reintroduce himself to those who know, introduce himself to those who don't. And yeah, we'll just hop right into it.
Yes, sir, man. My name is IMAX Beats, aka Malik that know me on a personal level. And I've been producing music since 2010. So almost 11 years, coming up on 11 years. So
3 years ago when we first did that interview, I know for me, I think we were seniors.
senior, June. I think we might have still been juniors. If it was 2017, I guess roughly 2017, we were still juniors.
Junior, senior, in that range. We were
Mhm.
somewhere in that junior, senior range. But I know for me, I was amazed, man. Like I was amazed at someone who took the craft so seriously at our age and in college. And I mean, we see it more now, and I know it existed before you. But for me personally, I think you were one of the first people I met where it was like, oh, he's a college student, like he's my age, but this craft is very serious to him. Like this is not just him playing around, putting shit together. Like, nah, he's actually studying music, like learning samples, really trying to find his niche, his sound and production. I always respected that. Where would you say you are at now, in respects to who you felt like you were then and where you felt like you were as a producer then?
Man, it's so weird because now like I'm like grown now, like I have a job, like I graduated, like I got my degree now. So it's kind of weird that some of my music time has been like condensed. Sometimes, in my industry I just came off a busy season. So it was hard for me to find time to do this. And now I'm coming into a time of the year where okay, I might have more time and I'm thinking about starting a project with somebody else and doing an album with somebody else. So just divvying the time is something that we talked about, but it's so much harder now because you have so much stronger. Not the school was not an obligation, but so much stronger obligations and a lot of time that's tied in. But in terms of music, like I've digested music so much differently than I did back then. Um, where I was just trying to make it cool and get deeper with my samples and get deeper with my sounds. But it's like now, I feel like an old head now because I'm, consuming music differently and I'm hunting for samples differently. And I, since then, like I've, found samples from any and everywhere. Not just YouTube. I'll find them. If I'm out somewhere, I'm Shazamming something. Okay, that's something I sample, or from a podcast, or from a mix on SoundCloud or something like that. I'm like stopping it. Let me get on SoundCloud on my computer, Shazam it, and then I'll find a sample. So even going back and going on Who Sampled, which is one of my favorite websites, and kind of looking and see, okay, I want to use that sample, but I'm gonna chop it a different way, or I'm gonna use my drums a different way. And a lot of this past year, 2020 was about growth. um, I saw a lot of producers, really take time and have the time to kind of grow and expand, and not just producers. A lot of artists did as well.
Yeah.
And one that I can't be remiss to saying because I know he won win Grammy for Producer of the Year last year was um, probably been one of my favorite producers since 2011 when I first heard one of his records. Was Hit Boy.
It had
That
year, dog.
that guy, I will never ever, if somebody tells me who had the best year in hip hop ever, producer wise, I could say like Pharrell 2002 or like Timbaland 99 or like Timbaland '07 or something like that. But honestly, Hit Boy, personally for me, 2020 was the best year for a producer ever, and he had the year. With having an album with Nas, with having
Oh my God.
most of the songs on the Shine album, having the Benny the Butcher project. Man,
God, like
that Benny the Butcher joint was like that was the one that kind of had made me refocus myself and be like, okay, man, I need to do this with my sound. Like my sound could be a little bit more crafted here and here. I mean, I really stripped down my mindset to be like, okay, I need to do this. How do I get better? How do I do this? What do I need to listen to? I went and bought some, new equipment. I'm like, man, I really gotta lock in. Like Hit Boy is having a year without being in a box. Like he had records on that Nas joint, like a Car 85 with Charlie Wilson that was like super melodic and lush like piano chords and stuff like that. And then he had a record like Spicy that was like hype record with, Viva Foreign and Ferg and stuff like that. And then he had some Shine record, those records on that Shine album. And I'm like, man, how do I like get better? That made me like hearing Deep Reverence made me hungry, So
no,
that's kind of mindset I'm in right now.
no, I feel that, man, and I have been saying that, like, if you were paying attention, like you just kind of kept seeing him, and it wasn't super braggadocious. It wasn't like he was going out, necessarily just talking nonstop about it. But if you were paying attention, you like this album dropped. Who's it executively produced by? Okay.
Boom, Hit Boy.
Like a month later, another album dropped. Who was it exactly produced by? Hit Boy again? I started looking around. I'm like, is nobody else seeing this? I'm like, nobody else seeing
Right.
it. And it like, and I think even though it was all in the hip hop realm, the diversity of the artist and him still finding a way to make it very clear with three very different artists that it was a Hit Boy
This
sound.
is what you talking about. Right.
And then on top of that, he's feeding the artist sound as well.
Hmm.
Like every album sounded almost like, in my mind personally, like when you talk about Nas, Sean, Benny, if you look at their catalog, their most recent albums, each of those artists kind of sound in a lot of ways like the epitome of that artist. They all very much were in their pocket, like
There's on.
their zone. And you got to speak to Hit Boy. I mean, I've said that, like, the reason I love Alfredo is because I love the connection when you get a rapper and a producer that really, really click, and one really like has the other and can like fit them in their hand like a glove. Like when you can get that type of match, a lot of beautiful things can happen. But I agree, Hit had an amazing year. And even when you're saying, seeing that, you're like, man, how can I get better? I think that's something that is wild that I don't know if we even realize happens from time to time. But I think if it's not happening, you should maybe find something or someone that's making you ask yourself that. I know for me, every time I watch Joe Budden, whether I'm watching Joe Budden podcast, All the Smoke podcast, every time I'm watching an episode, it's the same thing. It's like, okay, damn, like that interview was cold as hell, not just because of who the person was, but the way they crafted the interview, the
How
way
do I level up?
how do I level
Yeah.
up? Like how do like, okay, like how even like you just start like picking at the littlest things, just trying to figure out how you can get better, how you can take to the next level. So I mean that's crazy. Has your inspiration changed, or the source of it, over these last couple of years? Does the inspiration stay the same and you just find different ways to kind of feed it and feed that hunger, or are you inspired by something completely different now?
Man, it's weird. Like the influences that I kind of named in that interview have not really diminished, but I found more like avenues of how to keep myself inspired. Um, just like I was saying, like I've been trying to get into a little bit of music theory. Like I'm not gonna be uh, uh, an expert by any means, but I've got into like chord structures and stuff like that. That's something that I was barely thinking about in 2017, 2018. But now, I'm trying to learn a little bit about chord progressions and stuff like that. And I've started chopping samples a different way, and actually, physically getting in there and chopping samples is something that's kind of a focus of mine. But that inspiration comes by just being a listener sometimes, and then knowing how to block out. You know, if I'm going into a new project, which I'm working on with somebody now, I'm not gonna say. Obviously, Landon and I got an album coming, but this is something completely separate. Um, that's with somebody that's that's cold to me, that I'm a fan of, and that's a fan of me. So it's gonna be very special, and we've been kind of trading ideas back and forth, and trading samples back and forth, and trying to see how we can outdo each other. And we, you know, have kind of been not necessarily in terms of music, but kind of focusing on Watch the Throne, like how Jay and Ye kind of bounced off each other, and made, wrote records when they weren't with each other and compared them and stuff like that. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring that luxury type of rap back. I'm trying to bring that luxury production back. Um, I'm really trying to level up, because that's a part of my name. IMAX is an experience. It's not just beats. It's not just artwork. It's a whole kind of production around it. So um, that's the type of move we going in 2021. So
For sure. Yeah, no, I remember that's because I remember you first breaking that down, the idea of the experience. And then, like you said, it
mhm.
being more than just beats. Um, what does that mean to you? How much pride do you have in really, I say living up to it, but that feels like that's the wrong phrase to use, but to really mean, I guess, and to really showcase that when I say like working with IMAX is an experience, making
Mhm.
sure that that happens, that somebody gets that experience for sure. How much does that mean to you, or how much of that is a part of your process, if you will, for lack of a better word?
It's really about not settling, and it's a part of my DNA, man. Like, if anybody that's into astrology or whatever, like, I'm a Leo. That's a part of the Leo, like, prototype. That's a part of our DNA, man. We really don't settle for less, and more so, I think we are leaders. That's something that we strive for, like being a lion. That's the king of the jungle. Whatever. But I think that's just a part of it, man. I'm trying to be the greatest. Like, I'm trying to be the best, and I won't hold back by saying that. But it's not to be naive, to not think it's not going to take time. So it is going to take time, and I'm trying to bring the best experience. Like, I'm trying to have the best artwork. I'm not trying to settle for poor mixes and poor quality of music. I'm trying to level up everybody that's with me. Not even in front of me or behind me, but with me. So that's something that's big that I'm into, is giving that person the best quality possible. Because if you think of IMAX, you go into an IMAX film, you getting the best visuals possible. It's shot on a different camera, it's shot on a different lens. Speakers that's in the movie theater are just different. They're bigger, they're better. The sound is it's just that much sharper. So that's the kind of thing that kind of keeps me going. Is I do have a little bit of a name to live up to. So
For sure. Yeah, and I mean, there's a respect there as well. I think that, like you said, but I think kind of speaking to you saying this in your DNA. I think there are people that demand respect, and I think there are people that desire it, and I feel like those are two completely different things. You
mhm,
can desire respect all you want to, because I guess at the
mhm,
end of the day, you can definitely make a claim we all deserve it. But in the
mhm,
context of business, in the context of a product, uh, demanding respect, demanding that somebody respect your perspective, your opinion, the way you operate, your approach, I think is such a huge step, and something that I see in you, in your approach to
mhm,
everything that you do, because it's not, because it's not something that's guaranteed, and it's not something that people are obligated to give you, especially in a realm where like an artist is not necessarily obligated to respect you as a producer. And I'm not so much talking about
Mhm.
in the sense of professionalism, but I mean,
Right.
just because you a producer and just because you make music don't mean as an artist they, have any type of obligation to feed any ego or to give you any kind of leeway or whatever, whatever kind of stipulation you want to throw out there. So demanding that respect to say, no, like this is going to be an experience, and respect the way I work, I respect the way you work, and we can make magic
Mhm.
happen. I think that's big, and I think that that is something that, in my mind, to me, separates you, especially within our generation, our age, from the other people that I know who who are producing. It's like you. I'm trying to think of like actual producers, because I don't want to necessarily
Mhm.
mix or combine producing and DJing, because while there are similarities, I know they're very, very vastly different techniques and entities in themselves. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, a lot of respect there. And I think, to your point, knowing that you have that name to live up to just kind of speaks more to that. What else, man? Goals. Are your goals, I guess better way to phrase it, have you reached any of the goals that you had, 2017, 2018? Do you feel like you've reached any of them now? Or has it been a thing where those goals changed over time and now you're pursuing something different, but you're still in pursuit of the general goal that you had before?
I mean, it's really a mix of both. Like I still haven't hit some of those goals that I really want to reach, but at the same time, I have like gotten the goals with progressing and getting better, and working more hands on with artists and stuff like that. And something I'm focusing on is kind of bringing myself in that artist world, but not diminishing my sound and my quality at the same time. So, yeah, I guess some of those goals, like, of course, one of my bigger goals is to work with some of the artists that inspire me. I even, early last year, when the pandemic was first happening, um, I I read a book. I think it was like the Seven Laws of Nature by Deepak Chopra, um, or the Seven Natural Laws. I forgot what it's exactly translated into, but one of them was writing things in reality. Writing things to speak reality in. And one of the things I did was I wrote down artists that I want to work with, and some of the artists like was like, of course, Travis and Ye, some of my favorites, but of course a lot of new cats. And one was like Don Tolliver. I'm like, man, I really got to work with Don Tolliver. I
Yeah,
think our sounds will mesh perfectly. I think if we locked in and worked on something, that would be perfectly. And it was a lot of little known artists that are like, I know them from SoundCloud like that, but the masses may not know that person just yet. So I think that's definitely one of my goals is being more hands on. But not, a lot of people are just beat makers out here. A lot of people aren't producers. They won't say, okay, you could do better on that verse, or this mix needs to be better, or that artwork is just so so. Man, I'm trying to do all of it. Like I'm trying to help you with your artwork, help you with the mix. Like go back and be like, okay, that verse wasn't that sharp. Or you should say this here or say that there. I mean, that is you know, fighting up against yourself is the best way that you can make quality music. If you diminish with yourself, like you're gonna diminish with the people that enjoy your music, you're gonna diminish with the people that may dissect your music, stuff like that. But another goal that really changed for me was, wanting a Grammy. I think that my mindset behind the Grammys has completely changed
mhm,
over the last like maybe 2 years. And I'm like, man, I want a Grammy. I want to do this. I want to be like, you know, on a best rap album or be producer of the year or
mhm.
whatnot. I'm like, man, that's not even the focus now. Like, 'cause I know it's so much politic and there's so much stuff that goes into that. I'm like, man, that's not even my focus. Like, I'm here to make quality music. Like, I want to build on Billboard hits. I want to, not just hits for the radio, but I want to build on quality music, quality hit music that people will love and people will enjoy and cherish for generations. So,
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, I think that's a big thing too. Like when your mindset changes and when you can feel that and see that. I don't really know how to describe that shift. So I feel like I'm kind of experiencing it in my lane as well. But you just know it when you feel it and when you see it, and it just changes everything for you, honestly. So I feel that, man, and I think that's major. I think that oftentimes that's kind of when those type of accolades come, when you think of a Grammy or things of that nature, in that realm of like how high is held or the regard is held in. I think those things kind of come more organically or more naturally when it's not even like, oh, everything I'm doing is with that in mind per se. So I feel that for sure, man. That final question, big dog. I'm honestly genuinely excited to ask, because I want to hear the difference in the answer, like just the growth. Even because I even feel like even if it's the same message, I just feel like there's naturally growth in that answer because
It's different, right?
you know. So man, hey man, you know, you've been at this more than a decade now. You know, 11
Yes,
years.
sir.
You got projects, full projects under your belt. You've worked with multiple artists at this point. All those things considered, all the growth you've experienced within yourself, not only since our last interview, but just over the entire time that you've been producing. Man, what makes IMAX Beats as a producer qualified?
Man, it's the time and the patience, man. Because this is not a profession, or if some people call it a hobby, or something that you love, that is not for somebody that doesn't want to wait. Because very few people in this industry have instant gratification. I want to say less than a 0.5% of those people do. So it's kind of something that's a slow burn, and I'm still on that kind of upslope on it. I still got time, but like I said, time is definitely key. I mean, I named one of my projects time, because it's like time is the enemy and the confidant. Like time, you're like, man, I got time, but then at the same time, you're like, man, I don't have time.
Man,
And for me, it was always okay. I want to get on before I leave college. I want to get on before I turn. It's like, no, you never know what that path is aligned for you in the stars, or if you're a religious person, and what that plan that God has for you. So you got to really be patient and have that slow burn, because some days I'm like, man, when am I gonna get this one record? When am I gonna do this? And it's gonna happen when you least expect it, and it's not gonna be the record that you thought it was gonna sound like. So a lot of people have hit music and singles and placements of songs that beats they were like, man, they like that, but here it is that's their first number one record, or first placement, or something like that. So time and patience is what makes me qualified, and knowing that I have a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of OGness under my belt. So
for sure, man. No, and I'd have to agree. You know, from the growth that I've seen, I think that makes perfect sense. I feel like that's something that even me and you have in common. Just I love what you said about
absolutely.
time, though. Just because it is that double-edged sword, like because you do have time. Like I even look
Hmm.
at like at 25, like life is still ahead of us, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
That is
but
true. That's
but
absolutely
at
true.
the same time, it's like that mindset, it can't always be that I will always have time. Like there has to be a part that's like, but the time is now, even
Hmm.
though I have time. So I love that you said that, because I feel like the mentality about time makes the biggest difference in a person achieving their dreams and really manifesting what they want to do. Because yeah, you got time, and in essence, you got all the time in the world for real. But
Hmm.
your time, when is that? I think that's the question. Like, yeah, you have time, but when is your time? And are you going to strike? And are you going to be ready to strike when it's your time specifically? So,
Hmm.
so yeah, man. Nah, facts, gems, all gems. Man, thank
Right
you
on, man.
again, man, for doing this follow up. Again, I hope that people can watch your video from 3 years ago, come here and hear this conversation, and see, one, just how serious you are about the craft in general, but two, be able to respect and see the growth in you, not only as a producer but as a person. as a man as well, man. I hope everybody gets to see that. I know I'm gonna go back, you know, and watch that, you know, video and then come back and watch this. So yeah, man, can't wait. But is there anything else you want to say to the people before we head out?
Man, stay healthy, mask up, wash your hands. Just stay informed and stay vigilant. That's the key, man. 2021 looks very bright and looks promising, but we gotta make it there. We gotta make it around that this being, like this virus is still 100% real. You know, it's fun. I hope that I can look back at this video 10 years and be like, wow, man, remember coronavirus? That's not even a thing anymore. So um, I want everybody to stay healthy, 6 feet, all that good stuff, and just listen to the experts and be the best you can be. So
For sure, man. Well, we already talked about it. I know it's been a long day for you. I'm gonna let you go, brother. But again, thank you for the time. I appreciate it. We'll have your socials under here, so everybody watching, please go follow him. Please, we'll have the SoundCloud, all of that. Definitely go check out the tapes that he has released. Be on the lookout for what he has coming in 2021 and beyond. And yeah, man. Until next time. Until the next interview for this series. I'll catch y'all next time.
yes, sir.
Peace.